Over time, your straight razor is going to become dull. It doesn't matter if it's a cheap gold dollar or an expensive European razor. Eventually, with use and the attacking of the whiskers, that edge will become dull and round over. It's just a natural process of shaving with a straight razor. You'll notice that when you're shaving, the razor might start tugging. We showed in a previous video how to refresh, and although refresh work for a majority of the time, but there will be a point in time where the pasted strop just won't be enough to get that razor to shave ready. And believe it or not, working with a dull straight razor can be even more dangerous because you're using more force to cut your whiskers. Imagine this is the apex of the razor and below is the bevel of the razor. Eventually, while using a pasted strop, that apex will become rounded just like this. The pasted strop is a perfect tool to keep your razor keener for longer, but like I said before, eventually it'll get so rounded that that razor will inevitably need to touch a stone. And before I go any further with the video, I just want to say thank you to everybody who watches my videos. We just hit 200 subscribers, so thanks for being here. These are just a few of the stones that I use for a touch-up on my razors, starting with the Belgian cuticle. If I were to touch up my razor on a Belgian cuticle, then depending on the severity of the work that needs to be done, I would either put slurry or no slurry. That's just something that the user has to decide for themselves. Here I have a synthetic, this is a Naniwa 12K. This is known as one of the most common finishers that people use, and I would see no problem with using this as a touch-up for your dull razor. And for today's video, I will be using this Nakayama. This is a Copa. It's a perfect size, and I could either use Nagura to go a little bit coarser, or I could just go under running water, but in this case, I'm showcasing the Botan. If you need to do a lot of work, then Botan's a great option, Majiro, and here I have a Nakayama stone that you could use as a slurry stone. So there you have it. That is just a few examples of what you could use for a touch-up. And now I'll show you what I do when I do the touch-up. I do about, depending on the severity, I do 10 to 30 strokes, and that should be enough to get me back into working conditions. After I'm done with the touch-up, I make sure to go to a strop and do my usual stropping routine just to make sure that the razor will pass HHT. So one thing I want to say before the video ends is that once you have a bevel, the bevel is set. You don't need to go all the way back down to a bevel setter. So that's why I feel like the touch-up is a really good way of keeping your razor in working conditions. So if you're starting in the hobby, you have your pasted strop, it's maintaining your razor for the most part keen, but you feel like it still has a little bit more to give, then the touch-up is a great way to get you started and getting back into working conditions without having to buy a variety of stones to get your honing on. And now here I want to show you guys some examples of what the touch-up can do. Here I have some of my significant other's hair, and as you guys can see, this is passing HHT effortlessly. Her hair in particular is very thin, so I feel like the thinner the hair is, then the harder it is to pass the HHT. The coarser, I feel like the razor has more to grab on. But just in case, I brought two different types of packing peanut. This one is really cheap. It has a lot of air inside of it, so it goes in effortlessly. And I enjoy the packing peanut test, but you gotta make sure that whichever packing peanut you have, that is your golden standard. This one in particular as well is really dense, so it might be a little bit harder, but as you guys can see, it goes in effortlessly without any pressure. And when you do this test, you gotta make sure that you don't slide the razor either backwards or forwards. You just gotta put it straight on the packing peanut and straight down, because in a way, if you did a slicing motion, you kind of would be cheating. But anyways, that's the video for today. I hope you guys enjoy. Thanks for being here.